The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, happy Thursday. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for our session today, the episode 1 webinar. Um, During this Coffee Talks demo today, we are going to focus on the key topics, which is the navigation and user experience with our Sage S3 ERP. The slides and recording video will be sent after the webinar session. Today, we are pleased to invite our Sage speaker, Mr. Bernard Wong, is our solution consulting lead to present the topic. Should you have any question and how your organization can benefit to experience the Sage S3 ERP, you can type them in the chat panel and we will answer them accordingly. Now I'm going to pass back the airtime to Bernard.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, this is Bernard here. So today is the first topic of our coffee talk. Really, the idea is to start something, right? Instead of putting heavy stuff up front. Today is relatively what I'm going to share with you. The navigation and the user experience with Sage X3. So the idea is really to counter the questions or the challenge that people always say that, oh, if I use a very enterprise level kind of ERP, it will be too difficult for my users to actually adapt to using the system. Because however good a system is, at the end of the day, the user adaptability is utmost important. Because we always hear, right, we can have the best system in the world in-house. If the user decided not to use it and revert back to the old way, then it defeats the whole purpose altogether. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, for the user experience, I have actually prepared actually 3 things to actually showcase to you what do we mean by user experience and how do we properly address navigation within X3. For starters, in every Sage X3 screens, right, you are actually able to do something like this. This is something to, as of what we call a visual process, right? It's actually meant to streamline whatever daily operation that the user has, and then put it into a flow like this, and then publish it to. The idea is really for administrator to easily administer the system, right? For trainers to easily train the user of how to use the system, and finally for the users to easily adapt to a new system. Because with this kind of flow in place, right, I do not need really to remember what my step by step is in the new system. I really just click, and all this flow actually is a click, and then you go to the features that is required. Okay, so I'm going to show you the gist of my presentation today is really I will explain the features that I'm showing. Then I show you how it works really in X3. Then I follow up with what are some of the benefits that throughout our experience in the market, right? How have we gathered the benefit and how has it helped on their day-to-day operation? Okay, go to the X3 system. Okay, so you have seen me logging in as a super administrator. Okay, this is an X3 screen, so I will not go through the hassle of selling. There's a username and there's a password. Those are given. Okay, so traditionally you will notice that all ERP works this way, right? All ERP be a UBS system that you are using, an auto count, or maybe even a Sage system in the past, and even the high-end system like SAP and Oracle, right? They all work similarly like how ERP works when it first launched 40 years ago, right? You will have the functions, you click on it, right? Purchasing, then the more in-depth options and features will pops up, right? Whether it will be on top here, whether it's an icon, it's always the same. If I go on sales, then the sales features will come out. If I go on financial, the financial features will come out. So we wanted to reinvent this, right? Because a lot of times when they come to a new system, they often feel that I need to remember a lot of new things, right? I need to know how do I get a report from this new system called Sage X3. I need to remember where is the click for me to raise a purchase. Do I place order? Those kind of things, right? And often because of that, training curve become very, very long, right? It takes lengthy time. And a lot of times user finally say, oh, it's too hard for me. I will just revert back to my old way of doing things, right? That is what the management or anyone that have purchased an ERP doesn't want, right? I spend time to evaluate a system. With the organization spend money to purchase in a system flow, and you will see there are plenty here on the site, right? You can have it via a shipment. So if I click on this, it will actually change to whatever that I'm doing, right? And all these are actually templatized already, right? So it's templatized, right? And on top of that, on top of giving you a templatized one, we also give you something that you are able to actually configure to what you need in the system, right? What you need in your organization that, like I said, mimics whatever day-to-day usage of the system to the users, right? So I'm going to show you something like this. Okay, let's say this is a feature called late orders, right? Late orders, and the administrator wants to actually change this to fit their organization, or even the users with the right access, they want to change it. I'm going to show you how we do it in the system. As long as you have permission to go into process, right? Click on the process function in the system. So I know that I'm changing something called late orders, right? So once the late orders screen pops up, right? Like I have here, right? The late orders, I will know the process code. I can actually change firstly, what is this linked to, right? Whether it's linked to a function, whether it's linked to a, what is it linked to? Whether it's a report, right? Whether it's a function in the system, right? And the best part is on top of that, having all the functions fit here, right? I could also change very quickly the reminder. I will just put something like remind Bernard, right? You to just showcase to you, right? So once remind Bernard, I save it and I validate this, right? The system will go through the validation. Okay, not sure I pressed it now. Okay, once the system has gone through the validation, the next time I go into this screen, okay, you will see that instead of reminding supplier, it's remind Bernard. And if I click on this, this actually goes into a function that runs a report in the system. The importance of this is really, firstly, I'm able to change it on the fly for the user. I'm able to configure whatever standard that has been given me. Secondly is I'm also able to actually put in the functions that is needed, right? That functions that is used day-to-day basis, right? I could have something like this, or the more modern one that we have. Okay, I will log in as another user just to show you some of the template that we have, right? So the idea is really to make it easy for the users, right? So I will log in as the system admin, right? This time is Bernard, right? So we do have things like this, right? You can be very driven, like an icon based driven kind of uh what, or you could click it like this, right? You could actually have a library that we have that has been provided. It could be icon based like this. If I don't want to remember where the purchase order is, I just put an icon, and by one click of a button, it goes to the purchase order screen in the system. Okay, I can also define certain fields that I have already. So no longer the purchase order screen in the giant screen just now. Okay, so I'm just going to log out and log in as the admin, just to have some functions, other functions to show you. So in summary, right, let me just call up another function so that it's easier for us later. Let's go to the okay. So the idea is really this, right? The first thing is, for, like I said, for the system administrator, that if you need to incorporate any SOP or changes for the user, you can simply administer in what I've done just now, remind Bernard, you can actually put additional steps in there. You can put additional report that the users need to check, right? And just broadcast it, and you don't broadcast it to a specific uh, group of users that you want to access that, right? Secondly, is for functional users, right? Like yourself. It makes it easier to learn the features because what we are delivering is actually a system that actually mimics or copy whatever that you do day to day, or you come to the implementer, Mr. Implementer, I actually take 5 steps to create a purchase order. That is the 5 steps that we are going to put in the visual process. And when you log into the system, that is exactly the 5 steps that you see. And when it comes to implementation, right, this helps to deliver the system to be used by the user even quicker so that they don't need to spend a lot of time saying, oh, I need to learn this and I need a user manual for these features and all those things, right? It's really there for you, right? Once we study, then we have configure it, and yeah, when you log in, that is what you see. And finally is, of course, the ROI for the system. The faster the user get to use the system and reap benefit for it, the better the ROI is for the organization when they have invested in this particular system. Okay. Next, we go through a second features that I'm going to showcase to you. Again, is something that is pretty unique for X3, and hopefully by showcasing this to you, you appreciate what actually it will mean to you on attach our documents into our transactions, like purchase order, like a sales code, and like a purchase request, and whether we or not we can attach picture and attach contracts, right? PDF contracts and things like that. So what we have additionally on top of being able to attach is we are able to assign keywords. Just like my example now, I am actually assigning a picture to purchase order, and from this picture I assign a keyword which is my project code, right? So from this particular assignment, I am able to, after that, select very quickly all the purchase order that is related to this project code. Okay, I'll show you how it's being done in the system. Okay, so I go into my system. Okay, this is just to being able to the visual process. You are also able for the management level do things like this, a dashboard that pops out when they actually goes into the system. Okay, let me just go into the order. Okay, just click on the transaction selection. Okay, once I'm in here, right, what happens is when I do an attachment, right, like I say, I did an attachment of a picture, right, and assign a keyword called PRO123. In reality, what happens is this, right? So when I want to retrieve out, let's say I'm in the order entry screen, right? I want to say that, yes, let's do PRO123, right? Click OK. So the idea is really I'm able to retrieve out all the orders that actually have this keyword PRO123, project 123 that is attached to it. The usage for this is really 2 years or 3 years down the road when you are using a system already. So I want to check back on all the quotation that I've quoted on a project that I did in the past. I am able to retrieve this. Or I want to find similar PDF contract, right? That yeah, I know the terms and conditions is pretty similar. I just want to copy back that particular project into this new project that it could be the same project that I'm doing with the same customer. I just want to copy back. Then I'm able to retrieve out all this information. So no longer do I need to memorize the document number or the customer, then slowly scroll down. I can just use the keyword. The whole idea of this is, of course, by using this, I'm able to group it all together, right? And I've summarized it into this, right? So how does this actually help you, right? First thing is it is the record searching for users, right? The idea of navigation is ultimately to ease the record searching for the users. Secondly, is linking documents to relevant information. It could be projects, right? It could be a call center. It could be a special remark that you want to put in the keyword that you always search through, right? Or it could be also a handler, right? Whatever that your departments, the transaction departments, the transaction users, they want to actually attach and they normally search the document through that particular kind of attachment, right? And finally is referencing old documents, referencing old information. Think of it as a file cabinet, and what we are giving you is the index, right, in the system. So very quickly, the index actually helps you to pinpoint that particular piece of information amongst all the thousands and thousands of documents in the system. And this is applicable not just on the purchase order transaction that I've showcased. It could also be your sales transaction. It could also be your financial journals transactions and things like that, right? Everything is referenceable through the attachment, and with that attachment, you can actually assign keywords to it, and not just one keywords. You can assign in total 5 keywords to be able to do this kind of referencing. Okay, so that is the second features that I want to showcase today to really hope to help you with the navigation system, and in terms of helping you to really use the system, and very quickly you want to reference it with someone. Okay, this is something, right? And finally, configurable filters. A lot of times when we talk about filters, right, filters is really on top of the referencing features that I showcased just now, right? Filters is really how fast we are able to filter the records. You know, when we use Excel, we select a row and then we make it a filter, then we click, then there's a drop down whether you want to filter by this, filter by that, then you just tick, right? The concept almost similarly works in X3, okay? But what I want to showcase to you is a lot of times when you want this kind of filters to be on your screen, right? Be it on the purchase order screen, be it on the sales quotation screen, be it on the journal screen, a lot of times it may involve customization, right? It may involve a certain time that you need to wait for it, and it involves the technical people that actually do that programming, right? And it involves in certain case whereby you engage a consultant or engage a supplier to do it for you, it may involve certain additional fees that you need to get it done, right? But what I want to showcase to you is in X3, okay, the filter screen actually appears for all our transaction screen on what we call a left pane. Just like you see here, the date, the order number, the order site, the supplier, and internal reference, right? So the idea is really this, okay? I'm going to showcase to you, sorry, let me just go back there. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you on top of these 5 filters that is already preset in the system, I'm going to build one right in front of you to showcase to you how easy is it to build a filter and how useful it is. Okay, let me just go here, just close this. Okay, as per my print screen, right, you will see that I have in total for the purchase order screen, I have date, I have order number, I have order site, I have supplier, I have internal reference. These are my 5 filters, and the usefulness of a filter, of course, is if I type in FR, street, all the FR ones will come in, okay, be it in the middle, be it at the side, okay. So if I type in a specific, okay, the filter works similarly like this, okay, or I could put in the 12 ones, the 12 one will comes in and things like that, right? These are all what we are familiar with, right? So maybe the standard filters is great for me, but on top of that, I want additional filters, right? I want additional filters that actually filter the information even further so that it helps me, it is my work, right? I can very quickly call out certain documents that I want. Okay, so what we're going to do is, again, if you are authorized to go into the object screen, right, in the system, we go into the object screen. So I'm doing this particular screen called orders, right, that we have seen. Under the selection screen, I've seen that I date, order, site, supplier, internal reference. I want to build another one, right? It could be a reference to this table, or it could be a reference to another table, right? But let me just, oops, what did I do? Oh, okay. So if I'm basically on that screen, I'm not able to do it, never mind. Okay, let me just go back to object. Okay, so what is happening? Just straight. Okay, I think I do not have rights for that particular role. Okay, never mind. Check. Okay, I go into the pre-order, right? I want to maybe select some of the things. Okay, so let's say I want to do a country, right? So I want a country name because for my particular purchasing staff, purchase executive, it's important for them to actually filter their records based on country so that they know very quickly, right? And to search all the purchase order that I deal with China, for example. I want to search through all the records I deal with Spain and what's not, right? So I just save this, okay, and I validate it. Okay, once the system has validated, okay, as you can see, you have to have the correct access to actually be able to modify this. So the access is being controlled. Just now, because I do not have the access to actually modify this, I won't be able to add in any additional filtering. Okay, so once the system has gone through the validation, once it pops back to this screen, So if I go out, right, and I go back to the order screen just now, right? So you are able to see now. So if I go in straight into the order screen and check on the left panel, okay, so I'm able to see now, I'm able to filter by one extra column called country name. So I have China, I have España, which is Spain, right? I have France, I have Portugal. So very quickly, uh, they are, oh, I need to spell it like that. Problem. Okay, hold on. Okay, so very quickly, I'm able to actually build. Okay, when is this used, right? When is this really used? Let me just go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, firstly is a useful filtering criteria, okay, and it's applicable to the users only. I can actually have that particular screen, okay, that particular purchase order only available for my purchaser, okay. Let's say I have two purchaser, right? One is dealing with local purchases that is happening in Malaysia. One is dealing with overseas purchasers, right? Anywhere else beside Malaysia. So for the overseas purchaser, right, it's important for him or her to be able to filter records based on country that she or he purchased before. So it makes sense for her to actually have what I just did, right? The country name to be able to filter. And I want to check what is my previous purchase that I've done with this country, right? I have done check maybe some of the legality that I want to check also. Yeah, I could check. Okay, but it may not be useful for the local purchaser. So for the local purchaser, the screen will be the standard five filters that he or she have, right? We can actually do some differences like that. And of course, again, what I have showcased to you is that you see me adding in just by choosing and put in the table name and stuff like that. You do the important thing is there is no coding, right? You don't see me performing any programming scripts and what to do this. So that in essence is telling you that users with the correct access right, they are able to perform such addition to the system. Okay, so like I said, the criteria is tagged specifically for users, right? And finally, you are actually using whatever that you have built in, right? Or whatever that have you may sign in a request and have that particular administrator of the system to actually have it build it in for you, and then you are able to navigate the record with this. So the idea, what I showcased to you, be it the visual process at the very beginning, the second thing that I showcased to you is the attachment with the keywords, and finally, the filtering that you are able to do with the system. The idea is really to have a better user experience to connect to X3, right? To connect to this ERP, which may, at the end of the day, right, when you embark to replace your existing system with a new ERP, a lot of times you will say that, oh, what happened if, oh, yeah, they don't do it the same way that I'm doing it now, right? A lot of users may have this concern, right? So they don't do it the same way as we are doing it now. What happened then? Can we actually still use the system? Is it so user friendly? So all these small features that actually can be configurable in the system are actually helping users to adapt to the new system, right? To adapt to X3. So with that, actually, that is my final slide, right? Today, the idea is really have a 30 minutes, right, talk to really start to let you know what is this Sage X3. Okay, why is it what is the unique thing about X3? Really start with I'm starting with some of the more lighter features that we have, and saying it light, but at the same time these lighter features, you are actually able to do it by yourself with the correct access. That is the idea, right? We will teach you on how we do it, right? And then finally, at the end of the day, when you own the system, the administrator or whoever that is assigned to do it have the ability to do it. Okay. So with that, actually, I will end my presentation, but I will take on some question if I can see. Lynn, will you be able to see any questions? So far, I'm not seeing any. Okay. So I have not seen any question that is posted here so far. Okay. But anyway, the thing is with this, we do understand based on the survey that we have sent out, right? That some of you have posted your challenges, right? Your challenges of your current system and your challenges with your organization right now. Okay. Fret not, we will be compiling those, and we will actually be using those to have the next session of coffee talk to address those questions. Just that because some of the questions that we seen is not yet, that will be touch base on our next topic. That's why we have not addressed it today. But I do have one audience, okay, or participant that actually put down the challenge of his or her organization right now is it takes a lot of steps to actually perform a task. So the idea with X3 is really to counter that. We built the visual process to actually let you know exactly the steps that is taken by the system, or you dictate what you need to do to actually put in a transaction into the system. That's the idea. Okay. So if there's no further questions, right? I will give you back 27 minutes, right? For this coffee talk. Thank you for attending, right? Feel free to drop us any questions. You will have ways to contact us, or if you want further clarification, yeah, feel free. Thanks a lot.